But
those are the
now,
stakes.
how is he feeding his family?
Exactly.
You see? Now,
yes. How is
we
he?
do not see that.
But
We don't
he's
see the
unemployed.
urgency.
That is supposed to just
when
be
you're
implied.
unemployed. No.
We don't
It's not
want
implied.
to take the film out of Katwe.
But no one
to
watches
focus,
a film for implied
we don't want to take
sins.
the film out of the Queen of Katwe to focus on who? On
Then
Katende.
don't show us the scenes of him searching for a job.
We are showing you the scenes of him searching for the job to give you the magnitude of the sacrifice he is making to make the story work.
Kenneth,
this is so well done. That part is so well done, I swear. I don't understand.
Phiona and I have paid you to be on this podcast and talk like this, but I am very disappointed.
Welcome to the Real Africa podcast. This is a podcast that discusses African and Hollywood films, but with emphasis on African films. The goal of the podcast is to make sure that you watch more films, but mostly African films. To my left and right, I have Dev.
Hi.
And Ken. Ken picked the film today and he's going to tell us all about its plot. Ken?
So Queen of Katwe is a story of a chess prodigy from Uganda. So we follow her life as she discovers chess, first of all. She competes, through hardships, especially around poverty. She finds, when she discovers chess, she also gets lucky to find a mentor. And with the mentor, but with the mentor, they travel the world playing chess. She gets the family out of poverty and she gets herself out of poverty.
Chess and poverty are the themes.
That's the film. The film is about chess and poverty.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Yes, so what did you make of the film?
I think that the film produced in Uganda, I know neither of you guys agree that this is a Ugandan film, but considering that by the time it was produced, Miranaya was Ugandan, I think we are going to call it a Ugandan film. But yeah, I think the story is Ugandan, and this is the story of, what's the word? Is it redemption? Many people don't get the opportunity to move out of the situation in which they're born. If you're born rich, probably you don't want to move out of that situation, but you end up being rich the rest of your life. If you're born poor, chances are high that you're going to end up being poor your whole life, right? And a few things take you out of your situation. Our parents tell us that education does. Maybe if you're very good at politics in Uganda, you stand a better chance than the educated. But one of the other opportunities you have is sports and games and talent. And in this story, we are looking at a Ugandan who does not have a plan in herself. She does not even know that she holds this jewel within her, who gets lucky, at least in the story. So, I think there's a little bit of contrast between what actually happened in real life and what happened in the story. But in the story, in the film, she gets lucky to find these people playing this weird game who invite her in to try her luck out. She finds the right mentor. And, the story is really about the world opening up to her. Yeah. And it's a film, obviously. So there are challenges. It's not a straight path. There are challenges they find, there's the conflict at home on whether the mom can trust a stranger to liberate the girls, rather to help the girl, without ulterior motives and stuff like that. So that's a part of the film. The fact that in poor society, your children are a significant part of your labor, usually the day you don't work, you don't eat. And your children significantly complement that labor, right? So if your kid leaves their station, say for example, if they're selling mangoes at the stall and they leave the mango stall to go and play chess, that's sort of like a bad day for you. And so, the compromise has to be that, between the realities of today, the hustle of today, and this hope that, comes from, because again, chess in itself, before Phiona knows that she's going to become a global star, she's actually enjoying the learning process, she's enjoying the game. And again, a big part of poverty is pleasure is kind of something you should be guilty about. If you're enjoying something, it's probably bad. Yes. So I think there's a little bit of that in the film that, the mom is like, are you guys not wasting time? There's that scene, the first time she knows that what? So she hears from the gossip around the village that, hey, we saw your kids in what? In that place where they're playing chess. And, the first time she goes to see them play, she does the typical Muganda mom thing, pulls them by the ears and, gets them out of that church. So yeah, I think for me, there are moments in the film, specific scenes in the film, like taken alone, that I think were well done. I think the story it gets boring. I think that is the honesty of it. I think the pacing in the writing, and I don't know, because it was written by, is it called...
William Wheeler.
William Wheeler. It was written by William Wheeler, and he's pro. I think he's like a real professional writer, but it kind of, for me, doesn't make those. Maybe things change in the edit or something, but it drags a little bit. There's parts of the film where, you're just, looking. You're looking.
You want her to pull out a gun and start like shooting up the Canadian opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, there are parts of the film that are a bit so slow, and you have to be very, very patient.
Why should we be patient? I want to be entertained or excited, not bored in a film.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense. And I think, obviously, for me, the biggest critique is the film stinks like a foreign film, right?
Stinks?
Yes, it's
like it reeks of Disney, or what does it smell of? Be more specific.
It's again, people who have never been poor with this romanticism of what poverty actually is, right? And again, most people think that poverty is a lack, is sort of expressed in the lack, yeah? But if you're in Africa, poverty is not, sort of, you can have, there's lack, say, for example, of education, maybe, when emergencies happen, like when you need medicine and, there's lack of that. But poverty here is not in, like, bigger civilizations. It's not expressed usually as lack. When you're poor, you don't know that you're poor because you don't have food. Because usually you'll find food, but you'll find shelter, you'll find food, right? You'll find those basic needs in Uganda. But poverty, especially if you have a family, right? So again, I know there are kids who grew up on the streets and so on and so forth. I'm not trying to downplay that. But poverty is mostly expressed through human emotion. Poverty carries an anger to it, yeah?
Interesting.
Yes, that I did not see in the mother enough, right? So the mother is played by Lupita Nyong'o. And there's a character of a single mother who is poor, struggling with the kids, that is extremely bitter in a way that I've never seen portrayed in a film well, right? And I don't know, obviously, I don't know what Fiona's mother, because this is based on a true story, so I don't know what Fiona's mother was like. So I feel like that part is, if you're going to make a film about poverty in Africa, you have to, there's a scene, I know I'm breaking my thought in the middle, but there's a scene where this daughter who goes with Maurice Kiria, the daughter who goes to find a safer, like a better life. There's a scene when she comes back and knocks and gives the sister a mango. Fucking mango in Uganda. Like, how the fuck do you think about a mango? Like,
Of all the things.
Of other things, bring a box of biscuits, bring like a mango. That is something.
Or what about those, or crisps?
Yes, crisps, right? Yeah. It's what
Mangoes are free.
Yeah, mangoes are free in Uganda. Yeah, but it's like in Western countries, most of these vegetables are things for
Very expensive.
yeah, they're expensive and for rich people. So that is
Exotic.
yes. So when you see that in a film, you're like, oh man, this is a white person making this film. I know Miranda is not white, but yeah, like that is what you get. And yeah, I watched. There's an American show called Shameless, right?
Yeah.
And Shameless is a show about poverty in Chicago and something like that. And I felt like that show understood poverty. And it's a comedy, obviously, so it's a bit.
What's an African film that does poverty well?
What's an African film that does poverty well?
I would say Nairobi Half-Life. Yeah. Nairobi Half-Life.
It's not really poverty, though, is it?
It is poverty because by the time you're sleeping outside in the rain and you he's broke, he has nothing.
But it's not like a social portrait of poverty in the way that this tries to be.
Yes. So, okay, I don't know, to be honest. I don't think I've seen that film.
I think there's one called Waiting for Happiness that I saw years ago that's like Mauritanian, that's got this like grinding boredom to it that portrays the poverty of being broke. You know, just like, I can't do anything. I may have got the title wrong, but I think that's a good challenge. We should find an excellent film about poverty.
Yeah, I actually agree. No. Okay, so I think, and I don't know why I got distracted with that part, but there's the big parts, obviously, that I liked in the film. I like the casting. I think people complain that, they got David. David is American, right? But again, because he's Nigerian-ish, people feel like maybe there were like some Ugandans you could have got. What's the name of this guy? The Ugandan. I think he was actually even had a role, but I don't remember what he did. But there's an American. He was in an American Ugandan. He was in. No. Lupita is not American. He was in Sense8. Was he in Sense8? Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. So there was one, but most people maybe felt like he could have got the lead role. Yeah. But they get David to play Katende. And David, again, his African impressions also to Nigerian. So that's very clear. Usually you see his accent is trying so much to pull out of the Nigerian thing. But what I loved about having David in the film, yeah, and I think for Lupita, this actually didn't show much, but the contrast between a good actor and a not so good actor.
Who's not so good? Come on, call it out.
So the scenes where David is with anyone, yeah, you can see how the other guys are struggling to perform.
Even Lupita?
No, apart from Lupita, I'm saying, no, I'm saying, okay, no. So one scene is David at the football game with Luswata. And you can see Luswata shouting at the screen, like that theatrical performance, right? And that is something you totally not pick up on if Luswata is performing maybe not with other people, right? But now he's like in the same scene with a really, really good actor. And you see how natural David is talking. And you see how Luswata is responding as if he's talking to us, like, I forget what the dialogue lines are. And, this happened almost in every scene that David was in, right? Like, you'd see this guy is like trained to act. He's like maybe comfortable with this style of acting. And most of Luswata, his case was more theatrical. I think his background is stage performance and so on and so forth. And then these other ones, even with the girl that plays Phiona,
Madina.
You'd see that even with Phiona, she's not as believable. In the scenes where Phiona maybe is with a brother and so on and so forth, the contrast is not clear. But when she's with the real actor, you see the difference between an amateur actor and a real actor. For me, that's one thing I saw. And for Lupita's side, I don't know, maybe this is Lupita's skill that she was able to maybe tone it down. Because I didn't notice that these guys' performances were getting better, but I saw that Lupita with maybe the daughter, it was okay. The contrast wasn't so clear.
How about Esteri Tabandeki?
Yeah, so Esteri, I think her performance I liked. I thought she acted well. But yeah, again, for me, I could see it. Like,
Not just saying that because I'm your friend, Esther.
I could see it. I thought though, but yeah, I thought her performance was good, to be honest. I also thought her performance was good. But again, because again, for her, she shared almost all her scenes with what? With David. Yes. So yeah, but yeah, she was good. But you know,
She was very good. Yeah. I like Medina. What did you? I thought, okay, I tell you what I liked about her specifically. You know how she was cast? It's quite an interesting story. So Medina, who plays Phiona Matesi, the main part actually, who kind of, I think, carries the film, she was playing an extra, like a dancer, I think, in a scene. And quite early on, Miranaya, the director, realized she couldn't work with the main actress who had been cast to play Phiona. And I don't know what the issues were. I mean, actually, I don't really want to say. I heard some pretty bad stories. And so they fell out, and Miranaya then decided, they were going to look for a new Phiona mid-shoot, which is super risky. They'd already started shooting. And Madina Nalwanga was dancing in the scene and was very good at following direction, looked good, had this kind of innocent, kind of open face that I think is wonderful. That, I mean, personally, I never got bored of looking at Medina as an actress. And the fact that she comes to the role with such openness and kind of effortless grace, for me, was really winning. So even though she's not a trained actress, she just shone. And I think Miranaya saw that and sort of pulled her out, gave her a shot, and it worked. And they were like, bang, we've got our actress from the extras. And an interesting point of trivia is the same thing happened in the original film, The Bicycle Thieves, which is like a 1940s Italian film regarded as the kind of one of the founding films of neo-realism, meaning, a film shot on location with little cameras from the 40s. And the star, if you've seen The Bicycle Thieves, I mean, you must see it, is one of the films you have to see. Starring, I can't remember his name, but again, an extra who was just somehow looked and behaved better than the child acts that they'd originally cast. And Vittorio De Sica pulled him out of the extras and went, you're Bruno. So I think it's really interesting that these things happen. For me, one of the best things about the Queen of Katwe is this, there are moments of realism. And I think for me, Madina is one of the realistic things about the film that I believed that she was this person. But, you're quite right. And I think you're being, Kenneth, quite sort of technically precise here about saying, yes, Dave, but next to David, Oyelowo, how do you say his son? Oyelowo, yeah. I forgot there's too many L's and W's together. But yeah, he's obviously brilliant. And I think the acting is the best thing about the film. It is very theatrical at times, as you say. Sometimes the kind of the overexpressive Ugandan actors, but that didn't bug me as much as other aspects of the film. What did you make of it, Joanita?
I liked the film. I felt the film felt it, maybe because they were in real Katwe. Like a Ugandan watching this film will be like, yeah, this is real Katwe. This is how Katwe looks like, part of it. So I felt, yeah, it was essential for them to do that. But if we go back to the core and realize that this is a chess film, the chess bits were filmed so badly. And the film that I can use to compare this with is Queen's Gambit. I don't know if you've watched the Queen's Gambit. It's a series. So it's not a film, but I want us to look at the chess.
So tell us about Queen's Gambit quickly.
This is a story. It's a Netflix series, I think, about 6 years ago. They are now like 6 years ago. And mostly I want us to take the chess bits of it, because this Queen of Katwe is a chess film. It's a chess film at the core of it, but it concentrates a lot on the bits that are not chess. And then when it goes down to the chess is not done right. And you can tell just by watching it. Anyone who loves chess, anyone who plays chess, anyone who's watched a sport film, because this is supposed to be a sport film, it's partly produced by ESPN. It's a sport film, meaning as a director, your main emphasis should have been the chess.
And the tension within the games.
And Queen's Gambit does that so well. I did not feel that.
So in Queen's Gambit, did they kind of show you the moves? So
Yes,
you
they
kind
will
of have
show
to
you
learn
the
chess
Queen's
to understand
Gambit
it.
itself is a move.
Yes.
Right, but yeah.
In the series,
Yeah.
I think it's a fair comparison, but I totally understand your point here.
No, why is it unfair?
Why I brought up the Queen's
Yeah.
Gambit is because of the chess, just the chess aspect
Yes.
of it, not the other aspects of the film.
You're like, this is how
but
you
just
do
the
chess. Yeah.
If you want to do chess, so that even the audience, like your heart is like, is she going to? Is she going to? Is she going to? You know, like
How do
that
they-
anticipation.
So I had exactly the same thought, but without the comparison of Queen's Gambit. I actually don't think I've seen a chess movie that works. But, in my notes on the film, I wrote down something like, this is a film that fails to explore the meaning of chess, yet it should have been there because they have a line early on in the film, which is where Phiona Matesi's being taught how to play chess by a fellow slum dweller who goes, when the pawn reaches the last square, she becomes a queen. And then Fiona's like, ba-ding, that's me. I'm going to get out of the slum. It's a key moment. But that's the only moment where they explore chess as a kind of metaphor for her struggle. And they could have done so much more. The
problem with chess is it would have been so cliche. It would have been...
But that's what the film's about.
The film is about chess. How can it be cliche? Okay, so away from the chess bits that I didn't like, because this is a chess film. I would imagine other girls, if you have a daughter at home or a son and you've always wanted them to like chess, this would have been the film. This would have been the film, and you're like, watch this. You're supposed to come out of the film when you know a little bit about chess. I don't think that anyone left the theater or when you switch off your TV at the end of Queen of Katwe, you know anything about chess. You know nothing.
I made a note that it could have been about darts or a jigsaw puzzle.
So for me, that's my first critique about the film. Then the second one, and Ken, you're not going to like this, David's character. The way he kept on re-explaining the movie to us, the audience, it was so annoying. It was so annoying. He kept on trying to re-explain what you're trying to say of him overshadowing the other actors. Well, the other actors were acting. He felt like he was reading off a script, kind of remind us all the time of where we are in the film. Remind us all the time where we are in the film. If you watch that film again, you're going to pick it up. He kept on saying it. He would keep on saying it. Oh, so now we are at ABCD. So now we are, and it did not feel performative. It felt like you have to remind the audience that this is where we are.
The script problem.
That's a critique of the director, not the performer. No, but I get your point. Yes, I totally get your point.
Ken praised him as a very good actor.
Right.
And I feel that if you're a very good actor, this should not come off as you're reading from the script. It shouldn't. It felt expositionary and not called for. The film was flowing until he would speak these lines out of nowhere. And then it now just feels like, okay, this is a film. We're really on a film. Because when you're watching a biographical film, it should feel like you're immersed into the life of Phiona. That's how it should feel. I've watched so many biographical movies, and at the end of the film, you're supposed to feel like these characters are real. Ronald is a real person. You're supposed to forget that this is David. You're supposed to forget that this is Lupita. You're supposed to be thinking this is Lupita's mom. This is Fiona's mom. This is the teacher, trainer, or coach. Then another issue that I have, by the way, Lupita did somewhat a good job, but it would have been better had they cast a Ugandan actress. We discussed this before.
Patriotisms.
Not even from a patriotic part. Her role wasn't complex. Her role was not complex. Any Ugandan actress would have done that.
But her role was to sell the movie, not to perform it.
Now, if we go into the commercial side of the film, that to get Disney to sign off on a film, you have to get superstars from Hollywood and bring them here.
Before I forget, this is 2016.
This was had she done 12 years a slave? I am not sure. I have to check. But what I'm saying is,
12 Years a Slave is how she gets introduced into the Zeitgeist.
yeah, okay.
When was that made?
What I'm trying to say is, the role that Lupita is playing is one any Ugandan actress would have actually perfected, because they know what it means.
Who would you cast? Go on.
I can't give names. I don't want to be honored. But what I mean is, a Ugandan who has lived or seen of, like, what your first critique of the film, Ken, was that it did not feel core poverty of Africa, right, of Uganda.
Amazing.
And I feel that put a Ugandan actress there, right, they will convey exactly, because we've seen so many Ugandan films, so many Ugandan series and dramas that have a poor or a single African mother or Ugandan mother.
Anne Kansime? Anne Kansime?
Even Anne Kansime, like, what I mean is,
she does a good wooden spoon beating.
The role wasn't complex enough to justify having Lupita there to play it, and with her struggling to throw in some Buganda or Luganda lines there, like, I hated that part of the film, because I feel like, and this is the same critique I had for F1 the movie, when a director goes above and beyond to film on the actual location, like you've gone to the actual circuits, you're filming, the cameras are mounted on Formula 2 cars, like you have talked to FIA, you have everything at your disposal to make the film genuine, yeah? And then you go and get a story that is so far removed from Formula 1 that what we have is a good production, good location, shitty story. Now, in this case, we have good production, good story, and then the actors and actresses is where we seemed to mess it up, because this was so easy. If you were able to come to Uganda, film in Katwe, have supporting Ugandan cast, you mean to tell me out of that Ugandan cast you could not pick up a Ugandan actress who could act like, a simple mother? No, I know that.
You really are missing the point here.
I thought the point is that the film is a Ugandan film.
It's not a Ugandan film, it's a Disney film, and they need stars, they need names.
Now we talk to we bend to the commercial side of the film. Because to get money from Disney, yes, but if we're reviewing the film, I will not review it to please Disney, right? Now I want to talk of this film, as someone who's watching it. Like I said, I represent the audience. So as an audience member, when I was watching this film, I was happy that they were in Katwe. I was happy. By the way, I loved the Ugandan music playing in the background. Like you hear A-Pass. At some point you hear Mose Radio. Like Bobby Wine. Like I was so happy. I was so proud, by the way. This is a movie that has the Ugandan flag in its title. Like I was a proud Ugandan up until the moment Lupita is trying to mispronounce Luganda. That is the slap to my cheeks. Like, you mean to tell me there is no Ugandan actress who could have played a simple role as a mother? Like, and then if you get Lupita to play this, by the Lupita, if ever this lands on your For You page, I love you, but I feel like this is the same way you would feel if a Ugandan actress was playing a Kenyan mother.
Wait, isn't she Mexican? I think she's Mexican.
Lupita is Kenyan. She's Kenyan. And what I'm saying is, if we are allowed to get mad at whitewashing roles for Egypt.
Oh, wow.
Very interesting.
Yes, because I told you this is where this film would go. Okay. Like, if we get mad that we are having Hollywood actors play Egyptian gods, I can and I am allowed to get mad at a Kenyan playing a simple. By the way, I would be okay if her role was complex. I would be okay if Lupita's role was a complex role. This is a mother, a single mother. Any Ugandan woman can play this and make it more genuine. But here it did not feel, because at some point, And that Uganda was so annoying. I think this is the same way the Egyptians felt when they watch these Hollywood actors try to be gods and then you're shooting in Egypt. You're shooting in Egypt and you're having this guy who can't even. Anyway, but I love the film. But I know that these are different aspects that I'm throwing in there.
Okay.
But I love the film.
I will.
But you're angry. I mean,
Yes, I am angry because the role was so simple, but you want to tell me because of commercialism.
surely it's not the simple.
I could have been cast as something else. She could have actually been the wife of Robert Katende.
I think that when you see,
It's not. I don't think it's a simple role, but I think. Could we say it's a very relatable Ugandan role that, like, I get what you're saying. It's an extremely localized part. It's like a slum mum.
Yes.
So it almost has to be played by a Ugandan to capture that local dialect, the body language, the quick movements, the kind of aggression that you hinted at.
so I think that like what you're saying, I think what makes it valid is you could tell the two stars from the film out of their roles. So you could see Lupita and you could see David, right? I think that is valid. You could sort of, you could see David before you see Katende and you could see Lupita before you see the mother, right? And I don't disagree with that. I thought her performance was good. I think that this is the Messi effect. When you see Messi do something so seamlessly, you think, oh, this must be simple, right? I don't think her role was not complex. I do not agree with that at all, yeah? But, okay, that aside, one of the things that makes this film really, really work, one of the things that makes this film very, very Ugandan, and I think the reason we are not... the same reason we think Lupita's role was easy. One of the things that makes this film, it gives it the authenticity outside the casting, is the costumes, right? So there's so much attention to the costumes that it feels like it's Katwe, right? The colorful dresses, one of the cast members, one of the girls, the girl who cries at the chess tournament, right? Yeah. So this is not a ghetto kid, right? Yeah. If you look at her face, it's rich man's.
Even her hair.
Yeah, right? You can ignore the hair, but, the face is totally, this is a kid from a rich man. If you've been to Africa, if you've been to Uganda and you've seen the difference between what a rich man's kid looks like and what a poor man's daughter looks like, you would never cast her. But the costumes, right? They're throwing them in these... what's the name? Owino clothes, right? That are very colorful secondhand clothes. It's, the yellows. It's sort of like very designer clothes, but very old. That is, the detail to that, if you've been in a ghetto, you know that is almost how it blends in. And Miranda got her Oscar nomination for Salam Bombay, which is a documentary about the ghetto in Bombay, right? And, I think she brings that a lot to Katwe because she comes to Katwe, shoots in Katwe, and the detail, at least the parts when maybe they're running around the railway line and stuff like that, it feels almost documentary-like, right? And all this, including the actors, or rather including the extras and whatnot, everyone is paid to be there, right? Mm. But it's sort of done so well compared, to our the Half-Life, Nairobi Half-Life, where the guys are looking at us as well, right? This is it's done so well. You can see the professionality, but I think that part, the authenticity it brings it in, is so well done that you almost never notice that this is actually a sort of a piece of art. It's a decision that was made. It sort of feels like she came with a camera. She told, what's her name? Bring the clothes you have at home. She cast like a real ghetto kid. Phiona, she told her, bring the clothes you have at home. And then they ran following her with the camera. But, everything is designed. And for me, I think that part, I thought it would get an Oscar by either way. When the film came out, I was like, fuck, these clothes are so well picked. If white people know anything about the ghetto.
So another interesting detail was that when they were designing the sets for Queen of Katwe, they treated the slum as a set. So it's shot on location, but according to people I know who were there, they cleared everything out. So they would remove even houses, even structures, and then they rebuilt the slum according to the production designer's request and Mirana's request to make it look perfect, and the color coordination's amazing. So they kind of make the slum look beautiful, in a weird way, right? So even though there's piles of like rubbish and plastic bags stacked, and they have that quite amazing shot where they're going across where there's water outlets, and they're walking across part of the sandbag bridge, and it's kind of beautiful, and you're kind of going, yeah, it's full of crap, but that I agree with you, Ken, it's an extraordinary achievement, but I think that
For you, but actually, I think that
put my butt away.
I think the reason why it's easy to take that for granted is if you've not watched Nigerian films where, they try to shoot in a location as is, and it has these conflicting colors. You see the very bright green and the very bright blue, and it has now become actually part of the Nigerian aesthetic of like having colors that don't complement each other. Yes. And, you could see that. You'd think either these guys were too lucky that they sort of found days where the colors matched, or someone intentionally designed that. And I think that is what for me works for me. No, go ahead with your back.
And no, to add on to your point as well, like you can see that the night scenes, which are brilliantly, very artistically lit, but also the reds of the daytime of the mud and the clay. There's a very close attention to your color scheme there. And then in the grade, they're obviously bringing it all together in the grading and the color grading. And it's absolutely fantastic. Look, it's one of those films that wins on cinematography. And the cinematography is a triumph here. How to shoot a film in a slum, like bang. Relatively big budget. Let me check, but I think the budget was about 16 million. Or $15 million, which is for Disney's like your trailer budget. That's like your teaser will cost you 15 million. But no, so it's an extraordinary achievement from that point of view. But I'm going to now use that point about the beautification of the slum to segue into what I think is probably the biggest downfall of the film. And it ties in quite closely with your earlier observation about chess not being a great narrative driver in this film. So what is the narrative driver? It's a story of a girl who, with her talent, sort of punches her way, or uses her talent to think her way out of the slum. Who could not like such a story? And actually, I'm going to quote here the New York Times. The New York Times said, "Irresistible is one of those adjectives that critics should handle with utmost care. No matter how universally charming or winning a movie or a performance might seem to be, there's always a chance that somebody, somewhere, will be able to resist it. For all I know, that may be the case with Queen of Katwe. But if there's anyone out there capable of remaining unmoved by this true triumph of the underdog sports story, I don't think I want to meet that person. Well, here he is. I resisted.
I wrote that review. I don't want to be
I resisted loving Queen of Katwe. I was not moved. I was bored, pantless by this film. I found it incredibly boring. Why? Because narratively, it flopped for me completely. It dragged. How can you make the struggles of a slum boring? Admittedly, being broke can be boring. You don't have anything to do. Sit around, smoke weed, maybe shell G-nuts. It's very repetitive being broke. But in the hands of a competent scriptwriter, the daily struggle, the humiliations, the small triumphs, even sometimes big triumphs of the slum, the danger, the moral compromises. For me, there was all of the moral compromises and the dangers of the slum were toned down. And I don't think we can blame Disney for that, because we all know Disney films that are very exciting or scary, like Lion's Story or even Bambi, tragic. Even now, a tear comes to my eye when Bambi's mother's shot. And Lion's Story, I've watched Lion's Story again recently, the original animated one. It's got scary bits. It's tense. The villain is genuinely quite menacing. I want to pick out two missed opportunities here. The landlady here, when they get evicted, the landlady is just a businesswoman. There's nothing evil or bad about her. She's not threatening. She just goes, "You haven't paid your rent, get out." It's so mundane. It's so boring. I mean, I've evicted people in more exciting ways, okay? Like, I've been evicted myself in far more exciting ways with guys knocking through the walls with hammers, you know, literally. So we've all experienced like that tension with our landlords, and any of us who have been landlords, and I hope you're going to pay the rent later today, Andrew, there's a tension there, right? You don't get that here. She's just a businesswoman. You haven't got the money, get out. Then the other one is the pimp and prostitute moment, right? Mm-hmm. So Fiona's sister plays or half-sister plays this girl who goes off on a motorbike a couple of times with this pimpy guy. And that could have been played to far more dramatic effect without breaching any kind of child certificate. You know, you just could have had more tension there. She could have come back with a black eye. She could have had a very frank conversation with her mum. None of that happens. And it's like
with a mango.
She comes back from Capital Pub with a mango. What's that? Come on. And I was just like one missed opportunity after another here. There was zero tension about why do we have to struggle to get out of the slum? I don't know. It looks quite beautiful and nice, even when you're homeless. What happens to them? Nothing. They sleep outside their friend's shop, and then they get given a nice church to live in. It's so boring. It's like, Jesus Christ, can something exciting happen in this film? Sorry, I'm ranting here. But I was chewing through the sofa at some point going, in God's name, make this stop, please.
Saying is that there were no stakes, and that can be seen like right from the start. There were, what are the stakes in this film?
Right.
Not even the chess, like even the development of the chess story, how she gets to love the chess. Because in Uganda, we locally have checkers. The one that we play using we call it checkers or draft in Uganda. If the script writer or the writer of the book that this is based on, if he had actually come to Uganda, he would know that before, because chessboards are expensive here in Uganda. But what is cheap is draft. Because draft, all the kids do, they draw up the boards and then you get covers of bottle tops and you play. That's how every Ugandan child is introduced. I played checkers for quite a long time when I was a kid. And I know that before you play chess, because chess is expensive, everyone plays draft. There's a part where Mutesi or Madina is playing with what looked like draft or checkers, but they didn't focus in on the board. Again, they ignored the chess aspect of the film. They ignored the fact that we want to see her learn. We want to see her fail sometimes. We want to see her learn. Because chess is difficult, you guys. I'm an adult, but I can tell you that chess is hard. I know it's easier for kids to pick up these things, but chess is a difficult game. You're not going to learn it in one go. Like they made it seem like she was gifted. No, she's intelligent, but she was also taught well. And I feel like they did not convey that well enough. Because when you go back to the scenes of Ronald teaching these kids, he's not teaching them in depth. He is mentoring. He's telling them life lessons, not chess. Like, I know that someone is going to now comment and say that chess is a bit like life and etc. Yes, but when you're actually learning chess to play at the levels that Phiona plays.
If chess is like life, and hopefully someone does make that observation, then why not show that in the film? They failed to show it.
Let me defend this film a bit. Also,
you're gonna have to pull something out of the hat here, Ken. I'm resisting.
Hopefully this will give me some sort of what was the word?
A job with Miranai?
I forget. It to give me some street cred. I played chess for my school. Yeah?
That's gangster.
Yes. I did. Here's the thing, right? And now I'm happy that you brought Queen's Gambit, right? So these are two stories, right? One, they both have the word queen in them, right? One is Queen's Gambit, which is a chess opening, right? The other is Queen of Katwe, which is a queen in a place, right? And this should tell you what the story is about, right? One is about chess. The other is about a person who takes over Katwe, right? And these are entirely different things. I know people would have loved to use chess as a metaphor, but first of all, they're writing a story about people who are still alive, right? I don't know if you guys are like so cold-hearted, but weren't you warmed by the scene of like the actor and the person they're playing standing together at the end? Oh, come on. Okay.
No, I was warmed by the characters. What turned me off, and I think it's inexcusable, was the lack of stakes in the script. As you put it, the stakes were low. Come on, man.
So that I agree. That's not the part I want to defend. The part I want to defend is the direction of the story. Right? I think that part, yeah, I agree. I'm surprised also because this guy is supposed to be a pro, the writer, yeah? So I'm surprised why they took that direction. But the direction of the story is not chess, it's Katwe, yeah? That is very clear in the title, that we are talking about someone who survives Katwe, you know? So, two things is making this overly dramatic would mean Katwe is like Baghdad or Gaza, right? So, let me first make my point, right? Making this like Hollywood dramatic, it would mean that. But also going multidimensional in a Disney movie about, if you want to go multidimensional into poverty, there's a reason why all Disney movies about high school kids, happy kids with like mild problems and stakes that are okay, right?
Come on.
What Disney movie is about poverty?
About poverty, Cinderella.
Pocahontas.
Come on. No, not a fairy tale thing. And Cinderella is not about poverty. Cinderella is about poverty versus rich. Yes, I'm talking about poverty. This film is all. Katwe is all poverty, you know, poverty about poverty and poverty, right? If you're not going to contrast the rich and the poor, you want to...
I just got that. She's rich in her kingdom.
Yeah. If you're not going to contrast the rich and the poor, then you have to delve deeper into the nuance within poverty, right? And for a children's film, that's prostitution. That's crime.
I made a list.
That's crime, yes.
I'm going to quote myself here. When the family are evicted, we don't get a sense of how vulnerable they are or how their lives have changed for the worst.
Yes.
They sleep outside a neighbour's shop and then squat an empty church. There's no danger here. There are no thieves, no threats, no malnourishment, no cholera, no police brutality, no flying toilets.
Yes.
Where are the flying toilets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And for those who are watching outside of East Africa, a flying toilet is when you poo in a bag and you throw it over the wall. Okay. And that is a real danger in the slum that could have been exploited to great effect here, but they didn't do it. Why not?
So
other Disney films have tension. This doesn't.
So no, the thing is, again, the way you have to portray tension, right, in a story about poverty, right, you have to be very careful about owning that kind of story. Again, what I'm saying is, you know, the flying toilets, I think, okay, maybe that's a missed opportunity, I agree, right? The thing about theft, yeah, in a ghetto, unless you have something worth stealing, no one is going to steal from you.
They do,
right?
They totally do. I mean, theft
No, you
is
guys get to know what, like most
They
of the
steal
ghettos.
phones.
Again, no.
They steal
But
money.
they don't have phones. This is pre iPhone era, right? But also here's the thing. No, relax. Here's the thing, right? In a ghetto, most people have makeshift structures. Yeah, and the reason it's hard to steal is because, first of all, hey, let me make my point, right? In the reason it's extremely hard to, unless you know there's something worth stealing, right? If you come and steal, if you're an outsider, first of all, you're going to be identified that this guy is not from here. If you're within the ghetto itself and you come to steal, then you have to go through the hierarchies of the ghetto. You know, the ghetto usually has like gangsters, and yeah, that's a natural consequence of living in the ghetto. You have to go through the hierarchies of the ghetto to be able to steal from the ghetto. This is the truth, right? And if Miranaya is going to delve into that politics of the ghetto, you can't make a children's film that has crime in it, because now you go into the politics of crime. Yeah? This is the truth. But more importantly, if you get too graphic about throwing poop all over, yeah? Then you're making a statement about Kampala. So people are going to ask, you came to Kampala and all you saw were people throwing poop, yeah? And I think for me, this is what makes the film boring, is Mira trying to play it safe for the Ugandans.
We're in agreement on that.
But you can't blame someone for having a good heart. That is a good thing. No, okay. So I think you're right. It's apologetic in a sense, right? It's apologetic in a sense. And the mistake there is they got a white person to write it, right? If they got a Nigerian writer, if they got a Ugandan writer, you can't come at me for writing poop because I'm Ugandan, right? But if you get, a guy called Willa is like the whitest name in the world, to write it, then they can't do something deep, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. But get 16 fucking million and shoot a movie in Uganda, right? That by itself is worth talking about. Yeah. It will be perhaps in the next 10 years, from since it was done 10 years from now, it's going to be the only movie you can raise 16 million for to shoot in Uganda. Right?
They didn't, half the film, well not half, but a large chunks of the film were shot in South Africa. And God, what a waste. If we had 16 million to make a film right now in Uganda, if our film Imperial Blue, if your film that you want to make 16 million, come on. Like, first thing, I'd buy myself a car.
You know why we won't get the 16 million?
Why?
Because we're not telling that, like, Disney funny fucked up stuff.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, look, I'm what I liked about the film, and I want to personally, God Almighty, I mean, it's such a shame. For me, it's just such a shame because you had some of the acting so good, cinematography so good, soundtrack is great. What I think I just want to talk about this film in terms of missed opportunities. One, missed opportunity to show, for me, a great film about the ghetto that would either be more leaning into comedy, leaning into being a musical. Why not make it a musical? They're in the most musical country in the world, and with a banging soundtrack. Why Disney films traditionally are musicals, or they have like many musical numbers? Why did
don't forget Mirana's background. Mirana is a documentary filmmaker. So again, I think you have to see the film from the director's perspective, right? Well, the documentary stuff she gets right. You can't argue with the documentary.
They rebuilt the slum to make it look pretty. That doesn't sound very documentary to me.
For Disney, you can't put poop in a Disney film.
Either you're a Disney film or you're leaning into a realist film.
But you're a realist film hired by Disney. Yes, you're a realist film hired by Disney. This is a real world. You can't just say it.
Then for me, and I think you've actually said it at base, what the problem is here is that it's a contradiction in terms. You cannot have a realist Disney film. Okay? Yes. Either you're making a Disney film and have
you
humor,
can try and fail. I think she tried.
Have musical numbers, make it more fun, make it a bit more silly, absurd, whatever. Or, lean into realism. And I'm sorry, but then the reason that this film ended up being made was there's someone high up in Disney who's got he's a Ugandan who's, moved into Hollywood. I've forgotten his name. It's on Wikipedia. You can look it up. But that's how this film ended up being.
I thought Bill Gates was...
No. There's a Ugandan guy, if anyone wants to Google it, who is like a producer in Disney, and this was his pet project. And he was given a budget, which is, as I say, is probably less than they spend on the trailer for most other Disney films. 15 million. Now, look at it in terms of box office. Was it a success? It got $10.4 million at the box office. Compare that with the contemporary films, Lion King, 543 million. Avengers Endgame, 858 million. Yeah, it got 10 million. It's a flop. It's a floppy film that didn't work. It's not good enough that it's a feel-good film. I'm really sorry. And big up.
Lion King is a big story. A big. If you give me 2 million shillings to make a Lion King film, okay, maybe not 2 million shillings.
You'd have stuffed lions talking to each other.
I unfortunately, I'm not going to say things that are going to also put cold water on this now. $16 million. The next film, if you're watching us, the next film that you will swipe up, the next film we're going to talk about, used only $1 million US. Yeah? And they, like, when the film that I'm talking about is The Black Book, we are going to get to that, and maybe you'll watch it in the weeks that follow. Same film that has poverty still in there, and you're going to see how they did poverty in this film, and it still feels like, yes, there's poverty, there are stakes. What are stakes? Because anyone who's been poor before, even waking up and they have not robbed you in a slum is a miracle, Ken. These people were never robbed. She was never raped.
But they didn't show that. Again, this is what I'm saying is, you can't show rape, right? This is a Disney film. You can't, even the prostitution, you see they flirted with it, but you have to really sort of read so much into it.
But now, like I have said a million times, I represent the audience. When I'm watching this film, I don't have Disney on top of my...
The audience should listen to the critics.
Let me finish.
It's a Disney film.
Ken,
and that is the excuse. Go on. Yes.
When an audience member is watching this film, they are not having the politics of Disney and what it takes to make a Disney-approved film or how much it costs to make this film. I'm just sitting to watch a film, to be entertained. That's like the core goal of watching a film, any film. And in this case, this film was marketed as a chess film. Now, if they failed to get the chess angle right, let's now go to the normal story, right? The core, let me finish. It was the part that I want to clarify. Okay, it was marketed as a chess film.
Thank you for coming to our podcast. Now we'll explain to you why this film looks the way it looks. The limitation is Disney.
No. I will not blame Disney for the lazy script. I will not blame Disney for the lazy script because
that's the excuse I can give. I didn't make the film.
let us go deeper into say that the book that Tim wrote, that this film is adapted from.
A true story.
It's a true story, and the film dumbed down what was written in the book, number one. So Tim goes deep into the whole slum thing that you're talking about, like why didn't they? Tim is deep. It's a pure slum. It's everything. Like he goes in it in detail. The film watered that down. And I would have excused that. But my biggest problem is that even the story did not give Phiona an arc that we would have loved. Even when, let's say, okay, she goes abroad, plays this tournament, give her more tournaments, right? Okay. So that we see. Because also, now, if we go deep into it, how much does chess pay? Right now in Uganda, we have the Atubet sisters. They're playing chess all over the world. They're young girls. I think their story, if ever their story is to be told, you may think it's way better than Phiona. Probably will. They don't come from the slums, but they are pretty intelligent. How much does chess pay? I need someone to comment and tell us. How much does playing chess at an international level pay? Even the house that they finally move into does not give us that whole, okay, they're now in a house. Okay, but the move just came so fast. And so they've been in a slum for how many years? No. Hear me out. They were in a slum for how many years? Because by the time she buys that house, they're showing us that Phiona is now grown, right? Mm-hmm. So that means between the time she was a young girl and played that tournament abroad to when she grows up, the most she can get is this house. They didn't show us in between. I wish they showed us different tournaments.
There is a scene when Phiona refuses to wash dishes. Let's appreciate the nice things.
Why you don't take, you see, when a film, and this is what, basically, these are two sport films that I want us to consider when we're thinking of this. I mentioned Queen's Gambit, but let's take that away because it's a series. Now, F1 the movie and Queen of Katwe. Both are sport films. They are meant to bring the attention of any other person into the sport. Like I said before, this is meant to convert many kids into chess. love chess because, well, we have this girl who came up from nothing and is now a big person. But the story was so bad that you're not going to relate to the character. You're not going to feel happy for her eventually when she gets out of the slums. You're not going to feel happy for the mother. You're going to be as confused as the mother is, like, where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? Oh, is this my house? Is this my... So you mean to tell me all along she's been in the slum, she's been broke, even after Phiona won that first international tournament? Like, Then also, there are these confused scenes of Robert Katende's character where he's searching for jobs. Yeah? He's searching for jobs. Did you forget that?
No, how is it confused?
Like I said, throwing in scenes to try and make a story, but the story is not cohesive. So he's searching for jobs, comes back home. So they're
Hating on Queen of Katwe.
I don't hate the film. But if we are talking,
They didn't lean into the tension.
Yes.
Like, can I cut you off? Because I'm going to back you
What
up.
kind of tension do you guys want?
Let
This
me
is
tell
a
you.
man who has chosen to take a risky path of chess over an engineering supervision job. This scene is extremely important. To do what you guys call tension. You're looking away from the tension and looking from somewhere else.
So how do we convey tension? In an earlier episode, you guys picked apart the lack of tension in Cards on the Table, a Kenyan film, by rightly pointing out that they don't draw out the sense of being in an interrogation scene, right? You're stuck in a room, but it doesn't really matter. In this one, I would say the same problem is true. And I'm going to pick out two aspects. One, the job hunting. I am totally with Joe on this. I felt like, why are we watching this? What it could have had is like the devil's contract, where this guy says to him, I'm going to give you everything you've ever wanted. Just sign here.
But that's what he got.
No, wait. And you don't get this sense of like he's in this really bad situation at home and like he's got Esteri's character like hitting him with a wooden spoon going, just take the fucking money, all right? They're at home going, I'm not sure what to do. Darling, what do you prefer? I don't know what to do. And it's just like, it's so cozy, right? And it should have had brimstone and sulfur when he's in the devil's office and he's saying, don't worry about these impoverished chess players. What are they to you? I'm going to show you the world. They should have played, and if it's realist, lean into it.
If you want to blame, if you want to blame those scenes for anything,
No tension.
it's the South African doors with funny handles that you never see in Uganda, right? The actual scene.
You felt tense. You felt that moment.
Again, the point is not tension. The point is to set up the what? The story. Yeah, it's not that kind of drama. This is not that kind of drama, right? Yes. So the point is, this is a man who is living his normal life. He's doing chess on the side, training ghetto kids. And then he gets an opportunity to get a job. And he's going to risk, because by that time we don't know if Phiona is actually going to be a good player or not, right? He takes the risk of refusing the job to focus on Phiona. How the fuck is not that important to the film?
It is, but the way they did it wasn't tension. It wasn't filled with tension.
What do you want? Nigerian somersaulting? It's not a Nigerian film.
No, but at some point you should have underlined what was at stake.
no, sorry.
Everything, but
This is how.
Yeah, but they just said it. They didn't show it.
Like a fake. They don't want to show poverty.
Ken, no, there is a Ken.
What's not that one?
Ken,
Yes.
have you watched Sisters? There's that film that's Sisters. She's a nun and she's training kids how to sing for a tournament. I forget. It's called Sister Act Part 2. Yeah. Now, when you're shooting or when you're scripting up the coach, the mentor, the one driving these kids to become better versions of themselves, yeah? Like in this case, Ronald's character, yeah? When you're scripting it up, there has to be also stakes on Ronald's side, yeah? Like how they would have done it is that the church where he trains them, Ken, no, what I'm saying,
It was not Nigerian.
Ken, you're not letting me finish. What I'm saying is, at least let it be that church where they were practicing from, let it be that they are going to get evicted. yeah, they're going to get evicted. Or like, what is his? So you mean to tell me? No, as per the story, Ken. As per the story, they want us to believe that Ronald has no job and spends his time around kids, teaching them. But now, how is he feeding his family?
Exactly.
You see? Now,
But we don't see that.
we do not see that. We don't see the urgency. Ken, when you're unemployed. No. It's not
To
implied.
take the film out of Katwe to focus. We don't want to take the film out of the Queen of Katwe to focus on who? On
Then
Katende
don't show us the scenes of him searching for a job.
We are showing you the scenes of him searching for the job to give you the magnitude of the sacrifice he is making to make the story work.
Kenneth,
This is so well done. That part is so well done, I swear. I don't understand.
Phiona and I paid you to be on this podcast and talk like this, but I am very disappointed because one of the core tenets of filmmaking is show, don't tell, right? You just use the word implied about 3 times. I don't care what's implied.
Don't distract us as well. We don't want to care too much about Katende because Katende is not about the story, right? Yes, we want to care about the queen. So we want to set up a little bit.
A major part of the film because
I
they
think,
show
unless
us
you guys wanted to do a series,
No,
a
they
series
show
where
us-
we have like an episode on every character
They
to make
show
sure
us
we know them.
Katende job hunting so many times.
I know,
They show
and
us
it's like,
Katende
why
with
watching
his wife. Like
Yes.
instead of showing us the
But to
stakes
show
at
you that
Fiona's
this
side,
is how
they are showing us the stakes at Ronald's side. And then you-
Katende goes to play football after he was banned by the wife. That is to show, man, this
likes
is
football.
important. No.
by the
That this is
football element
important.
of the football
But again, you have
element
to
of the
understand
film
why
doesn't
this is
make
there
sense.
because they want to show Katwe, right?
Kenneth is unmovable on this point. I want to pick out another scene which illustrates this tension failure. Do you remember? And I mean, I would forgive you for forgetting because it's extremely forgettable. But do you remember the climax scene of the whole film? How utterly boring it is. So you have, she's made it to Moscow. She's in Russia, which is actually, it's obviously they're in Johannesburg shooting Joburg for Moscow or whatever it was in South Africa for Russia. And doesn't matter. Okay, but we're in Moscow and she's coming up, the climax of the film, she's playing to become a grandmaster. If she wins this game, she becomes a grandmaster at chess. And I didn't even realize we're in the climax scene. I'm like, and then all of a sudden it's over and she's walking away from the table and this Canadian woman's beating her. And I was like, she's going to turn around and come back and no, it's over. That's it. And she runs out onto the street and cries in the fake snow. And I was like, okay, she's going to come back and play again to become Grandmaster. She doesn't. She goes back to Katwe. That was the climax of the film. One of the most underwhelming climaxes imaginable. And don't tell me that was intentional.
No, he's going to say it was Disney.
No, it's neither Disney, nor was it intentional. It was bad scripting, bad filmmaking, underwhelming.
Okay, no,
big
that
fail.
part I also don't defend it.
Yeah. No tension.
Yeah, that part I don't defend it. I think no, if you can.
Okay, can we go into the ratings?
Yeah,
now?
I'm going to go into the ratings.
Ken should rate first.
Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that I've never seen that kind of picture with Ugandans in it. You know, the cinematography, as you mentioned, is so good. It's Ugandans. I like the sets. I've never seen Ugandans next to Lupita Nyong'o. I think that was very nice. And, Lupita Nyong'o has an Oscar. So, I think in general, it has so many positives that for me personally, as a Ugandan, watching this film, I would highly recommend it. Maybe go and watch it from the theater because if you don't, you may be distracted. But yes, you should watch it. I think I would give it a 7.
So
I thought you'd give it a 10, Ken.
No, it doesn't deserve a 10.
I think, what?
deserve a 10.
She's watching. Please give it a 10.
Mira and I didn't pay him enough.
Because how are
paid
you
him the
giving it a
medium rate.
7? How are you giving it a 7?
The film isn't bad. It has that last scene. I think that last scene, you feel robbed after, she doesn't win. But I think that's part of the story. The story is, this is not a fairy tale. It's a Disney anti-fairy tale.
For me, like I said, I was happy hearing the music, the Ugandan music. Oh my God, like that for me is a 10 out of 10. The music is a 10 out of 10. It felt, if you're Ugandan and you watch it, you're going to be like, yeah, this is good. This was crucial that they did that. I like the scenes in the slum. That was really good. They could have shot from Budo. Budo is a very good school. I don't know why we do not know if they authentically refused them.
Why are you saying no?
Okay.
I was there.
Okay.
We asked.
Okay.
I'm
So
lying.
they
I
didn't
don't
shoot
know.
it in
No, I
They
don't
did
know.
not shoot from Budo, but
Yeah.
But
Budo,
South Africa gave them a tax break that they couldn't
but
turn
what
down.
I
Apparently,
feel, that's why the film is $16 million. It's not $16 million because they filmed here in Katwe. It's $16 million because they had to fly the crew out. It is that expensive because they had to fly to South Africa. But I don't take that away from the transition worked well. You can tell, right? Yeah, the transition worked well. You can't, I won't take that away. So the production, the cinematography, everything is nice. This is what I said. The same thing I hated about the Formula One film. The production is good. The cinematography is good. The music is good. Everything is good apart from the script. And if the story is bad, it does not matter how beautiful the picture is. Because at the end of the day, the audience is not going to get out of the film remembering the cinematography. They want to get out feeling uplifted. This was a story that was supposed to make us talk of Phiona in our homes. Like, I want to tell my daughter about Phiona. I want to, but the story did not have that hero arc. All biographical films have to have a hero arc. Otherwise, don't make it. Do not make it, because it's supposed to convert so many kids into fans of the sport. But at the end of the day, why would I, if I want my kid to watch chess, at this point I'm just going to put Queen's Gambit. Watch Queen's Gambit. You will like chess. You will know about chess. You will understand, or you will even be moved to buy a chessboard. At the end of Queen of Katwe, no one is buying a chessboard. No one even remembers that it's a chess film.
They might buy the new Chameleon album, but not a chessboard.
Yes, not a chessboard. The costumes were good, yeah. So for me, this is a 5 out of 10. Missed opportunities, so many missed opportunities. If you decide to come into the country, be genuine with everything, make sure the script is good. Make sure the script is a 10 out of 10. And this is not even on Disney.
The screenplay, by the way, makes it
The script
it's sort of
is
the biggest
so bad.
L. Yes.
And I would say that the acting by the lead actors is bad. Yes, the acting by the lead actors, the two lead actors, that's Lupita, who cost us the most, by the way. Lupita and David probably cost us the most, is bad. It's bad. It is bad, and it is only bad because, and I don't blame them, what they did, what they put up, how they performed is good for them as Hollywood actors. But now, a Ugandan watching this film, this is bad. When I watch it, I shouldn't, when I watch it, I want to imagine that if a VJ is showing this film to the core Ugandan audience, the people in the slums, right, that this film was made for, they should not be able to tell that this person is not a Ugandan. They shouldn't be able to.
But would you have been happy if they had had Kaluya?
No, he's Ugandan. Okay, but he.
That's not enough.
Okay,
enough.
okay.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, a Ugandan shouldn't have to pinpoint and be like, this actor isn't Ugandan, this one isn't Ugandan. It shouldn't be like that. It should be that when we watch the film, since it's our film, yeah? In fact, I liked Michael Chiwanuka playing at the end. I liked it because he's Ugandan, he's ours, and we can own him, and it was crucial to hear.
Does he play?
No, he plays a song. He's an artist. He's an artist, and his song plays at, I think, the closing unit.
Because we haven't mentioned the most important thing about this film, that it's got Zora and Mandani in it.
Yeah.
And he sings.
Our mayor.
He sings, "I'm the number one spice."
Yes, and he actually appears
mayor
in
of
the
New
film.
York.
He appears in the film.
Yeah, he's got an early part, and then he's right at the end. He does a whole music video.
They show him with Amos, and they're playing chess. In fact, when I saw that part, you guys, sorry, I know my rating is a bit long. When I saw the part of Mandani and Amos, I forget his surname, when they're playing chess, I thought that Phiona is going to play chess with these guys at some point. Yeah?
With the mayor of New York.
No, because they were playing. What was the use of that scene? Now, this is where I go to redundant scenes, because you have that scene of maybe they changed the script halfway, because what now was the use of that scene of us looking at Amos and playing chess? What happened? She never plays them. She never encounters them again. They are not shown again in the film. So what was their role in the film? Why did you even have them there? Like redundant scenes, back to poor scripting. But it's a 5 out of 10.
Right, I'm going to be a little bit harsher. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 because, and you know, guys, I'm probably one of the more generous reviewers in the room, and I just found this so frustrating as a film, and I got bored. And you've given it an absolutely chilling review, Joanita, so I'm not going to repeat, but you pretty much nailed it. I just think what a waste, you know. There's a big budget movie being shot in Uganda. It's so rare that happens. And it's just quite a dull film, really. And the best thing about it is Madina, Asteri, and a few of the Ugandan cast who I really liked. The music, as you said, why didn't they make it a musical? If it had been a musical, I wouldn't have minded about the other bits. If it had been more of a comedy, I wouldn't have minded. But it tries to be this earnest drama, and there's no tension. You need tension in a drama, hence the name drama. It's not dramatic. This film didn't have stuff that made me go, oh my God, what's going to happen next? It made me go, I can't wait for it to be over. So, sorry, guys. Unless you're passionate about seeing a film made in Uganda, don't bother. This isn't the one. Big up Zora Mandani, though. Well done, mate.
We need the visas. We need the visas.
Yeah, we want
visas.
You.
We love you.
We thought you were great. You were brilliant,
You were
mate.
brilliant. You were actually the best.
I said all the good things, so these guys, I don't know them.
You were the best part of the
your
film.
bond is going to be like 5,000. Ours is 25.
Like, he was the best part of the film, by the way. And if ever you get to see this, we love you. We love the film. Actually, for you, it's a 10 out of 10. I'm going to show it again. In fact, I'm going to watch it again. As for our audience, if you watched Queen of Katwe, let us know in the comment section what you thought of it, how you rated it, and are you in agreement with some of our reviews, or are you siding with Ken? It was a good film, but we need to hear what you think. And also, more importantly, we need you to watch it. You can find it on the Disney platforms, I believe, and wherever it is that you get your films from. But I know that it's on Disney Plus. For now, I know that it's there. And we hope that you watch more African films. Watch it and let us know in the comment section. As always, this has been the Real Africa Podcast. Thank you for watching.